We've reached a major nexus point on our timeline. Everything from here on out is canon. Nah, I'm just chatting, but it is important to choose how we move in this upcoming era. Things as we know it are changing. We must adapt or we will be left behind. And it's high time to choose the leap of faith that will move us forward in this new reality, or stay stuck with what will be inevitable doom. I've recently been talking with a lot of people, mostly family, and the future we're heading towards is kind of scary. The speed that AI is being integrated into the workforce is kind of scary, and it's moving at such a fast pace that my original take that AI isn't going to advance enough in our lifetime where it would make a huge difference in people's work life. I was really naive, and now I'm quickly being proven wrong. Now, that's not to say that I think people's jobs are doomed. I don't think that we're all going to be replaced. It's not that. I don't think we're going to go all Terminator. My point is that for people who aren't tapping into their creative side and building something off of it, you may be in danger. So one night I was talking to my uncle. He works as a demo specialist for a company that sells like a certain software, and he was telling me how his company laid off like 20 or so workers, and he was really cool with a lot of them, right? Like, my uncle is kind of like the man at his workplace. He puts in that work, and people just genuinely like him. And even though he was devastated that most of these people were getting fired that he was cool with, he claimed that they didn't really do much to justify keeping their jobs. Like, he can see why like the company was laying them off, because they deemed that they kind of had nothing jobs. And I was like, dang, that's kind of foul to say. Like, it's kind of like for someone to say that your job is no longer required. And mind you that some of these people at this company, they made this job their livelihood. And the impression that the higher ups are giving is that they were basically useless in terms of contributing to like drive profit for the company. Like, their jobs were not even replaced by anybody. They were just terminated. Like, their jobs are no more. And I look at it now, even though it is messed up, because that's something that you've done for several years, and it's it makes sense why they got terminated. I know it sounds messed up, but I'm gonna explain. Their hearts were probably not in the job, and they chose to coast as long as they could until that inability to produce results was exposed. And as foul as it sounds, when you're working a 9 to 5 for someone, you gotta produce results. That's just the way it is. If you don't produce results you have to understand, when you're working a 9 to 5, your goal is to make sure that the company is thriving in whatever role you choose. And if you're not accomplishing that goal, your inability to produce results is going to get exposed. And I'm not trying to hark on these guys, but that is the state of the world we're living in. I'm pretty sure that their jobs being terminated, it had little to do with the integration of AI, and rather just them coasting at their jobs. But I bring up this example for people that are currently right now just cruising at their jobs with no backup plan. And in today's economy, that's just it's a recipe for disaster. It's just, you're just waiting to be fired. Those guys got fired for nothing. So just imagine what will happen when like AI starts to automate like the nothing jobs. We've been sold a lie that the 9 to 5 grind, it's a long-term solution for a healthy and happy life. But look at the landscape. Routine is being automated out of resistance. If your value is based on showing up and following instructions, you're competing with a system that doesn't, need rest, and it doesn't need to eat, or, doesn't get depressed. And I had to face this reality myself, realizing like the low effort path that I was looking for was actually the most dangerous place to be right now. You have to move from being a worker to being a creator, or You have, and if you're going to choose to stay at your job, you have to become a beast at what you do in order to keep it now. You have to shift your mindset into focusing on your passion. And I know, as crazy as that sounds, if you're not passionate about your job in the changing landscape, because you could have gotten away with this before, the fast growing AI, you're going to get automated out. So I don't think AI is the end all be all of human work, not even close. I think that AI can really help and elevate people's work if integrated properly. And I know that some of you guys are thinking, but Johnny, you just said that AI is going to be taking over the 9 to 5 workplace and automate people's jobs. No, my young Sheen. I said that they would automate the nothing jobs, not every job. It's going to be the jobs of people who don't really give a fuck about what they're doing or rely heavily on AI to do their work for them without really cultivating their own ideas. I know a lot of finance demons from my school that just can't really be replaced by the certain status of AI. They're just too good at what they do. They memorize the formulas. They know how to write a paper LBO or whatever the fuck. And, they AI would only make them 10 times stronger because they know their shit. They're passionate and creative enough to use their mental capacity to thrive in the changing climate. And that's why I think that not every job is doomed. If you have that passion, you're going to be just fine. And I know a lot of finance clowns they rely on AI to process, simple formulas and make these baby Excel spreadsheets for them and they will definitely be replaced. And if I entered the finance industry, I would most definitely be automated out. And it's not because I'm not smart enough, but it's because my heart's not in it. And I could never be that demon that will sweat my way to the top because I just don't care that much. And my point in all this is that we are entering a kind of like a renaissance era of sorts of, nothing we've seen before. The standardization of AI is putting creativity in high demand because original thought combined with hard work and passion is something that doesn't come by often. And you know how everyone says, oh, passion doesn't really matter when it comes to your work. But in today's landscape, it does. Because, the people who are sweating, like my uncle, at their 9 to 5 jobs, they're respected in their field. They're going to be tapping into that creative side. And if you aren't tapping into your creative side in any capacity of your life and you're coasting, you're going to be weeded out. I'm not saying you have to become a demon at your boring 9 to 5 cubicle slave session or whatever, but if you don't want to improve at your job where you can become an invaluable asset, because I believe that 9 to 5s do have value. If you provide the value, then you got to work on something on the side and really try to make it profitable. Creativity is not just an art, it's your insurance now. When you build a personal brand, you are building an asset that can't be patched. Like you can't, like the devs can't patch you, bro. And you're moving into the category of one. The reason why I'm leaning so hard onto this YouTube grind is because I realize that the only thing AI can't replace is a human being with actual personality and a craft that they care about. And that can show up in your 9 to 5. Most people, though, they wait for certainty before they jump. But in this era, certainty is death. And you have to jump while you're still scared. And listen, I want to reiterate the point that I don't think AI is going to have a Terminator takeover. And people who genuinely do good at their 9 to 5s, they're skilled, they're not coasting, like they don't hate their lives or their jobs. Like, they're going to be just fine. But just acknowledge that it isn't the safe path anymore. It's just as risky. And as you've seen in this economy at this point, like, even just getting a job is a miracle for some people. So just imagine trying to keep one with the lightning fast pace that AI is progressing in. We're all scared of the future, but I'd rather be scared while I'm building my own empire than, being comfortable waiting for the layoff email. Because I could be honest with myself, I can't enter demon mode in a 9 to 5. because it's just not for me. Like, I have to work on something on the side because I don't want to be the demon in my 9 to 5. It's just like you have to be really good at your job in order to keep it now. And the leap of faith, it isn't about knowing you'll land. It's about knowing that staying where you are is no longer an option. So, start that business, write that book, make that website, open that restaurant, marry that girl, start that YouTube channel, or start that OnlyFans you always wanted to start. And the new era of creativity is taking over. Tap into what makes you unique and take advantage of the wave of opportunity that AI is providing you. You can take on the risk of jumping into the unknown, or you can take the risk of staying on the ship that's already taken on water. One has a chance of total freedom, and the other has a guarantee of eventual obsolescence if you don't know how to fight that water. The leap isn't the move of desperation, it's the only logical move left. And the world is changing whether you're ready for it or not, so you might as well be the one holding on to the controls when the new era starts. But yeah, that's all I got for today. This is not a scare tactic. It's just it's just a wake up call for people that right now, your creativity and your passion matters more than anything else. And I know it sounds corny, but with the way that the world is changing, that is the only thing. What makes you unique is going to take you over the edge. So yeah, stay ahead of the curve.